Hey all, welcome back to the little shop of hoarders on the PDX Picker channel. I am Chris. We've got some orders that have sold for me on eBay and Poshmark. I'm going to give an update on this March Massacre. I'm going to continue to call it the March Massacre. Last year I did it. This year I'm doing it. Hopefully not next year, but that's what this month is. It's just a massacre on my reselling business. The numbers don't lie. The sales are down. But we still have some great orders that sold for me today. I want to give a quick reply to my last video that I released. It'll be a couple of days before you see this video, but nonetheless, just want to also give an update on what it is that I am doing around this shop to try and get out of this March Massacre, try to beat the odds and actually have a decent month. It's March 17th. There's not a lot of time left, especially because I'm going to be gone for a week. But the only option is to keep trying, keep pushing hard. So stick around after the intro song. We're going to talk about my sales, my strategy, and everything going on moving forward.
Wanna buy that Farrah Fawcett poster? There's dispensers and a toaster. Don't know why. That kind of stuff you throw away. I'll sell on eBay.
All right. First, I just want to thank everyone that watched my video, commented on my video about the eBay buyers and making me quit reselling. It was very humbling. It was great. It was great to just be reminded why it is that I put out these YouTube videos. It's never to be, making tons and tons of money, because honestly never thought I had a chance to make any money. But what I really found along the way is that I just love to share my experiences, and I love to hear about your experiences along the way with reselling and just life in general. And that was kind of going away because the videos I was putting out were getting fewer and fewer views, fewer and fewer comments, so that connection was going away. I was feeling very disconnected. And that video just really helped me build that connection, reconnect, and really reignite my passion for making these videos. So again, thank you so much. And who knows, maybe just that video alone might put me over the 4,000 hour watch hour mark, and I can start to make 50 cents per video that I put out on here. Let's go ahead and start pulling some orders. The weather is gross again. We actually just had a huge hail storm. Not huge hail, but a lot of hail. It was very small, thankfully. But on this metal roof, it is loud as heck, so I had to delay my video a bit, but that's fine. It stopped for now, but it might pick up at any point in time. But it's just cold and gross. It's like upper 40s, raining. Jonas has his first baseball game today, so that'll be fun, just standing out in the cold and the rain. But it will be fun to watch him play. I'm very excited. I love watching him play baseball. The start of the baseball season is just one of those symbols that summer is around the corner, the nicer weather. So it's great. It feels really good. These sold for me on Poshmark. These are some Cole Haan Chukka boots. Picked these up for about $11.50. They were like $22.99, and I got them 50% off from Goodwill. I couldn't really find a particular model, but these sold for $45 plus shipping on Poshmark. So pretty good, pretty quick. I think they're actually, never mind. I did find a model. They're the Grand Sport Rugged, because they're kind of these hiking style boots. Those sold really fast, which is great. And I've had a bit of an epiphany, I think. Part of the reason why, in my opinion, my sales go down every month in March. This is just a theory. I can't speak for other people, because I'm reading a lot of comments. There's a lot of people that have bad Marches. But then I'll look on some of the other YouTube reseller content, and people are doing just fine, so I don't know. But anyway, my theory for part of the reason why I have such bad Marches, and this is based off of I've taken a look at what I've listed the past couple of weeks. I've been listing a lot of not great stuff. Been listing a lot of stuff from this storage unit, and this is not stuff that I would ever buy at a thrift store or even at a garage sale per se. It's just, it came in the storage unit, and it kind of is something that could sell, so I've been listing that. I got really excited. There was probably 35 or 40 Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 games in there. So I was like, well, that would be one of the better things to list and sell. Usually you can get some decent sell-through rate on a good chunk of those games. Some of the really popular ones you can't even really give away. But so I got excited. I went to go list those. First one I opened, no disc in there, no game in there. Second one I opened, no game in there. There wasn't a single game in any of those cases. So I guess he just kept the cases put them in storage. So that was really defeating. I did go through and I found, I think, 6 or 7 of the games that just the case and manual only does sell. Like there was a Guitar Hero Metallica game for the Xbox 360 that can sell maybe for $15 plus shipping, just the case and manual alone. But those are the kinds of things I've been listing. You know, it's not a huge audience for just a case and manual only. It's just primarily people that are collectors, I guess. You know, not just your casual players. So then, you know, I was listing that. I've been listing just a lot of random little tools like batteries for drills that I can't test because I don't have a charger or the tool for, so I'm just listing them as 4 parts only. Just not great stuff. And you know, I don't have any garage sales to go to, and if the things are not, if the thrift stores are not popping with what they're selling, then I don't really have very great sourcing opportunities right now. And I think that, you know, year in and year out, around this time of year, the donations really go down at the thrift stores. And for whatever reason, it seems like the prices are starting to creep up even more. And so because of that, I just have fewer and fewer good things to list. So, shocker. That's going to not really, you know, it's going to lead to not really great sales, right? That's just the theory, but it makes a lot of sense. So I'm hoping to push through. Last year, my April was much better than my March. So we'll see. We'll see if that can turn around again in April 2025. These sold. These are some Brooks Adrenaline GTS 22s. I think these are women's shoes, and I picked these up for $7.99, and they sold for $35 plus shipping. So I just want to point out, you know, these shoes are $150 shoes new, and I bet you these might also be somewhat similar priced when they're new. You take a look at these. I mean, these cleaned up really, really nice. The colorway is nice. The soles are, of course, a huge issue. So with these, there's a lot of tread missing. If this had all of the tread was nice and visible, these would probably be $45 to $50 shoes when they're in this nice of condition. But you got to discount when there's obvious signs of wear like that. These, you know, I got more money for it because the wear isn't nearly as bad. But I just want to point out, you know, we have essentially a brand new pair of shoes right here. Like there is virtually little to no wear on these. And I had to discount them $100 off of what the new price is. And that's just the nature of the shoe reselling business, which is probably the case for a lot of things, clothing related. But it comes back down to you gotta shoot for $10 or less on any shoes that you're buying for resale. There will be a few outliers, shoes that are obviously new even without the box. I'm willing to pay up to $20 or $25 for those, depending on the model. But used ones, ideally, you're going to shoot for, like I said, 10 or under. So I have 10 total sales today. But again, the dollar value, the average sales price is still not that good. I am surprised that these sold as quickly as they did. These are just generic. They were new with tags. Cabela's hats. This is my second one that sold. They both sold for $19.90 free shipping. So essentially $15 plus shipping. But I mean, I bought these off of Whatnot from Rethink Thrift. He put on a Whatnot show, and I bought both of those for, I think, $1 each. So maybe $2 for both of them. So that was a really nice sale, but it just surprises me. Of course, the fact that they're new really helps out, but just they sold so quickly, I guess. Less than 6 months for both of them. That was what was surprising. This next sale was a bit of... well, some of you long-term watchers, I sold some 1973 Matchbox military rescue unit, little plastic figures. an action figure, a car, that sort of thing. I sold both of those for pretty decent money, like $16 and $30. I had two of them that I spent like $13 on total. Well, somehow a piece from one of the vehicles fell off. It's this, I don't even know if you can see that. It's that right there. This came from like a Jeep vehicle. So I went ahead and listed that. I had it listed for like $10.90 free shipping. Somebody offered me $9.50 free shipping. You know, basically cost $4.50 to ship this. So that sold. Well, kind of made. If that piece was on the original figure, the original vehicle, I probably would have sold it for about $20. So I'm not making any more money this way, I don't think. But at least I got something out of that, which is, you know, if you find a little piece like that, sometimes they can actually be worthwhile. This stupid Carhartt shirt, I bought this for $2 at the church rummage sale last year. It took forever to sell. Took an offer, $10 plus shipping. Nothing special about it. You know, it has just that tiny little embroidered Carhartt logo on there. I don't know. I don't know if that factors into why some people will buy things or won't buy Carhartt. I think a lot of people buy Carhartt for that little square Carhartt logo sticker. And Carhartt shirts in general, button-up shirts especially, not that great. But for $2, I thought it was worth it. It took so darn long to sell. Speaking of Carhartt, we're back to back. Got a this hoodie that I had just talked about listing last week, and it sold probably in about a week. So it's this Newberry pattern, and you can see there's the Carhartt tag, and what do you know? It sold about a week. Of course, it's a hoodie too, which makes a little bit more sense. But picked this up 2 weeks ago at a thrift store near me that has 50% off clothes every Monday. Paid whatever half of $8.95 is, and that sold for $17.50 plus shipping. So again, profit not huge. $4.50 into, or whatever it is, into, yeah, $4.50 into $17.50. Not great profit, but it only took, 2 weeks from the time I purchased it till the time I'm shipping it out, which I think that is pretty good. That's good, fast money. I started, speaking of little tiny action figures, I started this process. I am going through all these old G.I. Joe pieces that I bought at an estate sale. I bought this bag was full to about right here, and you know, all the pieces are out here. Paid $10 for everything. This is actually a Star Wars vehicle, I realized. A Hoth speeder, or something like that. I don't know. Some sort of Star Wars related vehicle, and this is a Tomy Hoomdorm. Some sort of 80s robot type thing, but it's missing a lot of pieces. So I don't know. This might be worth $5, $10 maybe. This might be worth like $5 to $10 maybe. It's just, you know, it's missing so many pieces. I do have all of these little bits and baubles in here. I didn't even see this. That's a Luke Skywalker minifig. Sometimes those are worth decent money. I did have one random G1 Transformer in here, but he is parts only, and I can't remember the name of this guy. He's similar to Jazz, the Autobot, but anyway, I don't even, if I could sell that, it would be again about $5. But I just started trying to find all the pieces and put them together. Google Lens, of course, is my friend for sure. I do have one in here. So far, I would say this is the most complete one, and the one I think that might have the most value. I just set it in here to get it out of the way. It's still missing quite a few pieces. There's a whole other vehicle that goes up top, up here, that I don't have. This is Destro's something, Devil Tank or something like Demon Tank, I think is what it's called. But I have 5 of these, so that's helpful. So, you know, somebody could maybe use this for parts. That might be worth maybe $30. But I was excited when I first found these. I was thinking to myself, oh, you know, I got, you know, this $10 purchase. Maybe I have $250 or $300 worth of G.I. Joe materials, and I don't think I have it anywhere close to that. I think it might be closer to $150 at the most, because so many of these are it's definitely just parts only. Thankfully, it isn't horrific. I was really worried that it was going to take, or be virtually impossible and take forever to piece these together. Granted, I haven't, there's still a ton of these pieces in here, but anyway. That's been a project that I started yesterday. I put this off for, I bet you it's a year and a half that I put this off. I'm pretty sure, maybe I got these last summer. I don't know, but it could have been the summer before. I have just been sitting on these for a long, long time. So I said enough is enough. It's time to start it. And on top of that, I still need to clean the pieces because they are super dusty, super dirty. I'll just use like some old paint brushes and stuff. I like to use these kinds of things for cleaning. It doesn't always work great, but see if it even works at all. Hopefully you can see in here, this thing is very dirty, very dusty. So if I just come through here, well, let me put the camera down. I'll do this for like 10 seconds, and then you'll see what I'm talking about. Alright, so you can see it is cleaner, and then there's just all that dirt right there that came off. So I like to use, like I said, these kinds of things first, and then come through with like a wet cloth. You could use canned air, like one of these here. You could use that. I definitely don't like to use those on old toys, because sometimes they can just blow the stickers right off, because some of those stickers are barely held on, or they're obviously held on by very old glue. So if you use that high-speed air, it can just blow those stickers right off, and definitely don't want that to happen. But you want to try and use as little water and as little chemical, of course, as possible, which is why I like to use those paintbrushes. But all this time I'm focusing on this little thing, and I bet you this piece might be worth, again, $5. We're not talking a lot here. It's from 1988 though, so it's the later. I think the GI Joe golden period, if you will, is like 1982 to 87 ish. Those are, of course, the first run of the smaller figures. Whatever the size of the action figures are. I think those are usually where the value is, and a lot of that stuff, almost all of it, is the late 80s, which is not quite as valuable. But anyway, it's a project, and I'll keep you apprised, and hopefully you'll see some sales of these figures pop up in the next couple of weeks. Back to the orders. I was happy about this. Showed this in a video a couple weeks ago. This also took about 2-ish weeks to sell. This is the German gas mask that I believe was from 1968. So, Vietnam era German gas mask. Not sure if Germany had anything to do with the Vietnam War. I guess probably not. But anyway, bought this for $3 at my church rummage sale, and it sold for $29.99 plus shipping. Pretty quickly, like I said, 2 weeks. The mask itself didn't have any markings, and but the not whatever this is, filter up here, that one actually did have a few markings, and that I think helped sell that. So that was good. That was encouraging. I looked outside. I see it's sunny. That reminded me. I took a peek at the weather in Phoenix next week. So a week from yesterday, I will be on a plane down to Phoenix, Arizona to watch my son playing a baseball tournament over the week, and took a look at the weather. So, it's upper 40s, low 50s here. was really looking forward to maybe some 70s or 80, 82-degree weather down in Phoenix. I mean, that would just be so nice and just kind of give me, warm up my bones, right? Well, the weather report is low to mid 90s the whole week. I think one day it was supposed to be 96 for a high. That is too hot. That is too hot. I don't like it when it's that hot. It is what it is, I guess we'll be spending some time in the pool. My parents have they go every year for about 3 months down to the Phoenix area. They have a RV trailer and they stay in one of those retirement RV parks. There's like 80 or something in the Phoenix area. And it has multiple pools there, which will be nice, but because it's usually older people that stay in these pools, older people like hot pool water, so it's like 85 plus degree pool water. So it's not going to be super refreshing when the pool water is practically the same temperature as what it is outside. So, I don't know. Hopefully, it'll be fun no matter what. I'll just come back. If nothing else, what it'll do is I'll come back to hopefully some weather in the upper 50s, lower 60s, and then I'll really appreciate my weather here at home, which that would be nice. This is the other half of the Coach, what's it called? Coach Campbell. I bought a purse and this matching wallet. I decided to separate them primarily because this wallet it had some stains on the inside and then one small stain on the outside. Probably can't even see, but there's a little tiny yellow stain on the outside and quite a few of them on the inside. Anyway, spent $7 for both the purse and the wallet, so I said $5 for the purse, $2 for the wallet. This sold for $20 plus shipping. Took about a week longer than the purse, but still both sold in less than 2 weeks. So, I've got almost all this stuff that I'm selling here is stuff that I've listed in the last 2 weeks, okay? And that kind of goes back to my theory that if I'm not sourcing good items now, then of course my sales are going to go down, and that has been the case. The sourcing has been not nearly as good as I would have liked. Another item that I just bought that sold super fast. I bought this maybe 3 weeks ago. I listed it about a week ago. Where would I have put this? It must be down here. Yeah. This is a leather jacket. It's made in Mexico. It's by a company called Bazaar. Bazaar. There's nothing online about that company, but I bought this for $2 at the church rummage sale because it's kind of like this burgundy red color, which was relatively unique, and it's a nice leather jacket. It's got a really nice, I think it's retro but modern style to it. The issue with it, though, when I went to list it, is there's a rip. Not a rip, but seam had started to come apart here, right there. So I discounted it down to $25. Because if you know how to sew, that's not a horribly difficult repair. Maybe. I don't know. Never sewed on leather. But I don't know how to sew, and I didn't want to give it a shot. But anyway, that sold for $25 plus shipping in about a week and a half, if that. So, once again, really good materials, really good items that you source. They sell really fast. Now, on the flip side, this last item of the day took since the summer to sell. So I had this listed over the summer. When I bought this, I thought it was obviously a good no-brainer pickup. And it was. It just surprised me how darn long it took to sell. Pair of Nike Dry Fit shorts, new with tags. Spent $7 on these at a garage sale, and the MSRP on them is $40. The more I think about it, this is actually totally in line. Actually, I sold them for $29.95 plus shipping, so I listed them pretty high. You can't expect to get anywhere near what the MSRP is, even on new with tags items, unless there's a shortage of them or something. But these are not, there's no shortage on these. These are just exercise, you know, I don't even know how to describe these shorts, women's shorts that are like exercise shorts. Dime a dozen. They're black, but those still sold for $29.95 plus shipping. So sometimes you can get lucky, but that's the reason why they didn't sell quickly. If I wanted to sell them quickly, I'd price them at like $23 probably plus shipping. I bet you they would have sold months ago. But because I paid up for them to begin with, you know, $7 for something at a garage sale that you're only going to sell for $23 is not ideal. So I decided to hold out, and that's why I priced it higher, and it paid off. I guess. I don't know. Would $23 in September be better than $30 in March? That's up to you. I don't know. I think everybody could have a different opinion on that one. So it's hard to say, but I feel okay with it. I was hoping to sell them last year during the summer, so not too surprising that it took another 6 months. But we're approaching the warmer months, and who knows, maybe they're going to be in Phoenix next week when it's 95 degrees and they want some cooler gear. Thank you to my PDX Posse member, HarleyGal143. I do feel weird having her be the only one every week, but nonetheless, or every video, I should say, you know, when I thank my PDX Posse member. I wish it was members, but anyway, thank you so much, HarleyGal143. You are the best, and thank you to all of the viewers out there. That's going to do it for today's video. Please like this video if you did, and subscribe to my channel to get some more content like this in the future. Good luck with your reselling ventures or non-reselling ventures that are out there. We'll catch you on the next video. Take care.